July 11, 1943. The Kursk salient. A morning when even the birds don't sing. Fog lies over the field, thick, gray, cold, like the breath of war. In the middle of this fog stands a tank, a regular T-34. It seems alone, but inside it there is life. 4 hearts, 4 fates, beating inside a tight steel box. The commander is Senior Sergeant Alexei Horobets. He's only 22. From Poltava. He once dreamed of plowing the land, now he plows it with tracks. Sashko, how's the engine? Running, Commander. Quiet, steady. Good. Let it keep purring like that as long as we're alive. Ivan, the gunner, peers into the sight. The fog's thick, you can't even see where the enemy is. He's out there somewhere, Horobets says calmly. Always somewhere out there. The cramped hull smells of lubricant and diesel. Drops of dew slide down the armor like tears. Petro, the loader, holds a pendant, a tiny icon. He whispers something, almost soundless. Praying? Horobets asks. Aren't you? I pray in my own way. That we all make it to evening. Artillery thumps dully in the distance. The ground trembles, the fog stirs. For a moment it seems the air itself has grown heavier. Horobets lifts his head out of the hatch. Along the horizon, the first rays of sun break through the smoke. It's starting, he says. Somewhere nearby, a gull cries, then the distant rumble of engines. Someone out there, beyond the ridge, is already forming up for the attack. In this moment, the whole field freezes. Even the wind stops. Only the heart of the tank beats softly under steel. Boys, says Horobets, remember, we didn't start this war. But today we won't give it up. Yes, sir, Commander, 3 voices answer at once. Music swells slowly. Camera pulls back. The sound of distant thunder. The fog hasn't lifted yet, but each of them knows. In a few hours this field will turn into hell, where the fate of the war will be decided. July 1943. 2 giants are about to meet in a battle history will remember for a long time. The Kursk salient, a protrusion of the Soviet front more than 100 kilometers deep. The Germans prepare to strike. Operation Citadel, the Wehrmacht's last attempt to seize the initiative. They have gathered over 900 tanks, including the newest Tigers and Panthers. To the north, Rokossovsky's armies. To the south, Vatutin's and Rotmistrov's forces. In the center, a small village, Prokhorovka. Here, 2 steel avalanches will meet. About 2,000 tanks across a few square kilometers. In the headquarters they still try to count forces, draw arrows, issue orders. But those who will be in the fields understand, on a map you can wipe out a line. In reality, every meter will be paid for in blood. Horobets looks at the map hanging inside the tank. A red pencil arrow marks the direction of their thrust. See this line, Petro? He says. That's our road. Short, but hot, Petro laughs. Like life, Horobets replies. Ivan, the gunner, carefully places a dot on the map. We're here. And here, they are. Not far, Sashko mutters. We'll meet quickly. They all fall silent. Even the radio that always hissed is now hushed. As if the front itself is holding its breath. On the other side of the line, SS tank units. Leibstandard, Das Reich, Totenkopf. Their equipment gleams, their confidence is boundless. But today they will meet men who have no right to retreat. They say tigers can't be penetrated, Ivan says. There's no steel that doesn't melt, says Horobets. The main thing is to hit the heart. Outside, the first explosion booms. Deep, drawn out. The artillery preparation begins. The air hums. Then it's time, says Horobets. From now on, history isn't on paper. It begins here, in the dust. The map slowly dissolves into smoke. Music rises. The voice grows deeper. July 12, 1943. The Battle of Prokhorovka. The day when the earth itself began to breathe fire. A few kilometers from the front line, behind a low ridge, the steel awakens. Hundreds of engines begin to hum in unison. The air becomes thick, heavy with smoke and oil. German armored divisions are preparing to move forward. Leibstandard, Das Reich, Totenkopf. They are the pride of the Wehrmacht, chosen for Operation Citadel. The commander of one Tiger adjusts his goggles, looks through the sight. In front of him, a field lost in fog. His voice is cold, deliberate. Range 2,000 meters. The Russians won't have time to dig in. We'll be through in an hour, Herr Oberleutnant, the driver replies. In an hour we'll be in Prokhorovka. They laugh. They are confident. Their armor is thick, their gun, deadly. The Tiger weighs almost 60 tons and seems invincible. The column starts to move. Tracks tear the earth, lifting clouds of dust. Steel glints in the sun, engines rasp hoarsely. The air smells of smoke, oil, and heat. From afar it looks like an avalanche. Dozens of Panthers and Tigers push forward, covered by infantry. Behind, on the hill, artillery batteries stand ready, to clear the path. Achtung! An officer shouts in the headphones. Artillery, first salvo. The ground shudders. A bass note that pierces the chest. Explosions rip the air, pillars of smoke rise. Gut. Now forward. He commands. The tanks advance. Slow, but unstoppable, like death itself. Their guns look straight into the distance, where beyond the horizon the Soviet positions lie. A young German driver, barely over 20, looks through a narrow viewing slit. Commander, do they have tanks too? They do. But theirs are toys, the other answers coldly. Then maybe the war ends today? For someone, yes. The growl rises. The air vibrates. A gray cloud of dust covers the horizon. It seems the field itself is crawling, breathing, moving. On the other side, in the fog, they are already waiting for them. The Tigers do not yet know that in a few minutes this field will become their trap. Soviet positions. In a narrow gully beyond a strip of brush stands a company of T-34s. The air is hot, thick with dust. Somewhere nearby artillery booms, the first shells, still distant, but already close to the heart. Horobets' crew prepares. Ivan wipes the sight, fingers oily with grease. Petro counts shells. Sashko checks the engine again, as if life depends on it. Commander, he says, the engine's running hot. Good, Horobets smiles. Let it run hot. Means she's alive. They sit in the tank, each busy with his task. But each feels the same cold in his chest. Ivan, says Horobets, see where the sun is? I see it. Before it climbs higher, we'll be in battle. Remember that. Hard to forget, he mutters. You don't forget this. Petro laughs nervously. Commander, what happens after the battle? Lunch, if we survive. Then I'm eating twice. They laugh. The laugh is short, nervous, but real. The first shell whistles overhead. An explosion somewhere behind. The ground shudders, a trickle of dust sifts from the ceiling. It's begun, Horobets says calmly. He raises his head into the hatch. On the horizon, a dense cloud of dust. Black dots grow larger, swell. Tanks, he whispers. The radio comes alive. All crews. Prepare. The enemy is advancing. Hear that, Ivan? Says Horobets. They're coming. I see them, the gunner answers, taking a deep breath. Sashko flips the switches. The engine roars. The machine comes to life, vibrating as if ready to leap. Horobets looks at his boys. All right, brothers, this is it. What are we fighting for, Commander? Petro asks. So someone, someday, can live without this fear. He dogs the hatch. Darkness. Only the greenish glow of the dials. The air turns hot as a forge. Stations. The growl of engines sounds everywhere. The ground begins to move. Hundreds of T-34s roll forward, to meet the Tigers. And at this very moment none of them yet knows that today will be the bloodiest day of the entire Kursk salient. 8:10 a.m. The field near Prokhorovka stands wrapped in fog. Dust, heat, and silence, such silence that you can hear individual clods of earth fall. Ahead, beyond the ridge, the enemy. Hell will begin here any moment. In the steel belly of the tank, 4 men. They cannot see each other, but they feel every breath. Horobets holds binoculars, standing in the open hatch. The air is dry, bitter, smelling of burned diesel. They're coming, he says softly, as if to himself. Far off, through a shimmering veil of dust, dark silhouettes emerge. Tigers. Heavy, like iron monsters, they crawl forward, leaving black trails of smoke. Commander, there are dozens of them. Ivan whispers. How many are there? Don't think about it, Horobets answers curtly. We'll count after the battle. He looks ahead, and for a second it seems the field itself freezes. If time could stop, it would stop now. Loader, round in the tube, Horobets says calmly. Round up, Commander, Petro answers. His hands are shaking, but he holds on. Driver Sashko snaps his switches. Engines running clean, he reports. Purring like a cat. Good. Let it purr. Just don't let it fall asleep. They all smile quietly. For a second, humanity among iron. And right away, silence again. The first explosion's rumble is heard from far away. Then another. And another. The hum grows louder, deeper. Move out, says Horobets. Moving. The tanks surge forward. The ground drones under the tracks. Within seconds, the field is already breathing fire. Dust and soil rain from the sky. The air is full of smoke, oil, and screaming. Range 2,000 meters. Ivan shouts. Closer. Says Horobets. They'll shred us, Commander. The closer, the truer, Ivan. They fire from far off. We go for the heart. The first German shell rips the ground 50 meters away. On the radio. Crew 3 is hit. Fire everywhere. Horobets feels the tank shudder from the shockwave. For a second his head rings, as if the world has slowed down. Then he grabs the microphone. Tiger on the left. Range 900. Copy. Ivan yells. Fire. An explosion. Silence. Then, a pillar of black smoke. Hit. Petro shouts. Got him. Don't celebrate. Load another. All around, the field already burns. A neighboring tank explodes, its turret flies up. The dull thump is felt even inside their machine. They're flanking left. The driver shouts. Back. Full throttle. The tank jerks into reverse. A second later a Tiger's shell schemes a meter over the turret, detonating behind them. Earth showers the hatch. Commander. Petro says quietly. Remember when we stood under Oral? I remember. We thought that was the end, too. This is worse. This is more important, says Horobets. Because now there's nowhere to fall back. Another rumble. The tank shudders. They all grab the handholds. Alive? Asks Horobets. Alive. They answer almost in unison. Then we breathe and we shoot. Gunner Ivan lines up again. In the sight, a gray tiger, slowly swinging its turret. Target acquired. Fire. A shot. The shell strikes the lower side. Explosion. Flame. Yes. Penetration. Ivan yells. Horobets exhales. One less. Many to go. 15, they're flanking right. 9, the left flank is breaking. 6, respond. Horobets squeezes the mic. Hold the line. Do not retreat. Commander, they're surrounding us. We hold. We do not fall back. There's iron in his voice, but in his eyes, fatigue and fear. They know the odds are slim. On the left another T-34 explodes. A boy from the neighboring crew leaps out a ball of fire, takes a few steps, and falls. Inside the tank, silence. God. Petro whispers. We're all going to die here. Quiet, says Horobets. Not yet. He flips a switch. Target, tiger on the right. Aim lower. Copy. Fire. A shot. Another blast. Dust and soot flood the sight. I can't see. Ivan says. Wait, the turret's smoking. Knocked out. Petro cries. Horobets doesn't answer. He just closes his eyes and bows his head for a second. Then he raises the binoculars again. On the horizon, the field is aflame. Tanks, infantry, wreckage. Bullets ping against armor. Everything around breathes death. Commander, fuel's at 0, Sashko says. Keep it moving while it moves. You won't walk out of here on foot. The smell of burning becomes unbearable inside. The air is forge hot. Petro coughs, Ivan wipes soot from his face. Just don't suffocate, says Horobets. I'll even sing a song if we make it, Petro laughs through the cough. Deal. If you sing, it means we're alive. Horobets breathes in. You see that smoke? We see it. That's not defeat. That's the price. For what? Ivan asks. For no one to say later that we ran. Somewhere close another tiger rumbles. Horobets's tank slips into a gully. They go still. Slowly, carefully. Quiet, says Horobets. Let him come closer. The tiger stops right above them, on the crest. Silence. Now, Horobets whispers. Fire. A shot. A direct hit. Explosion. Flame. The earth shudders. After that, only noise. And ringing ears. Then Petro's shout. Yes. Commander, yes. Horobets lets go of the controls, leans against the armor. That's it. We fought them off. They say nothing. They are still alive. But it's a miracle. On the horizon, hundreds of pillars of smoke. The sky is gray, heavy. The wind carries the stench of burning. And only one sound cuts through it all. The steady, heavy breathing of the T-34's engine. Which has not fallen silent yet. We're holding, Horobets says softly. We're alive. And as long as we're alive, this front stands. The field after battle breathes smoke. The earth is black, torn by explosions. The air smells of burning, oil, and blood. Horobets's crew survived. They broke out of the burning zone, past overturned machines, wreckage, fire. And now, in the low ground, among trees. The tank stands motionless, almost blended with the earth. "Kill the engine," says Horobets. "Let it cool." "Aye, Commander." The engine dies. Silence so deep they can hear hot armor ticking inside the hull. Petro's collar is open, his face is smeared with soot, eyes red. "Commander, what was that, huh? We could have all gone under." "Could have, but we didn't," Horobets says calmly. "We're not the ones who fall first." Ivan looks into the periscope. "They're coming. Slowly, but they're coming." "How many?" "At least 2 tigers. Something smaller behind them." Horobets raises his head, peeks out of the hatch. Through smoke and dust, movement. Heavy tiger silhouettes creep along the hollow, probing with their guns. Their sound is like thunder. "Hold," he says. "Don't move." Sashko even switches off the fan. Inside it grows hot, the air is heavy as lead. They can hear each other breathing, slow, careful. Horobets looks at his boys. "Remember," he whispers, "it's not strength that decides now. It's patience." They freeze. Even the tank's clock seems loud. Ivan barely moves his lips. "Commander. I can hear it driving right over us." "Don't look up," says Horobets. "Watch the sight, but don't fire until the heart says so." The growl grows stronger. The ground trembles. A tiger approaches, its tracks crush wreckage and branches. When it passes within 30 meters, the T-34's hull quivers from the vibration. They all hold their breath. "A little more," Horobets whispers. "Just a little more." The heavy German tank crawls past and stops. Voices from its turret, brief laughter. "They think we're all dead," Ivan whispers. "Good," says Horobets. "Let them think so." Time stretches like eternity. Every second, a heartbeat. Then the second tiger. It moves a bit higher, along the gully's rim. Slowly, cautiously, as if it senses something. "Commander," Petro says, "maybe we should hit him?" "Not yet," Horobets whispers. "Wait." But he's right there, behind the tree. "Wait, Petro. Don't shoot until I see the beast's eyes." The tank goes stone still. Around them, only the rustle of leaves, the crackle of twigs, and the tiger's engines. And then, the moment. The tiger stops right in front of them. Its gun turns aside, turret toward the forest. For a second the lower hull is exposed. "Now!" Horobets shouts. "Fire!" The shot tears the silence. Explosion, flame, the scream of metal. The shell punches through the belly plate, the tiger jolts, fire gushes from the hatches. Muffled cries inside. "Hit!" "Penetrated!" Petro shouts, but Horobets stops him at once. "Quiet." The second one's still alive. At that moment the second tiger snaps its turret around. "Fire!" Horobets barks. The T-34 jerks backward. The German round whistles past and detonates above the gully. Earth collapses, dust buries the site. "Load, Petro." "Up." "Fire." The second shot. The shell slams into the tiger's turret. A blast, echo rolling across the hills. Smoke settles slowly. On the surface, only a black stain, wreckage, and silence. Ivan inhales heavily, like after a sprint. "Commander, we..." "Yes," says Horobets, "but don't relax. It's not over." From the side, beyond the trees, more engines. A few more German tanks. They're hunting survivors. "They're sniffing us out like dogs," Petro says. "We'll be a shadow," Horobets replies. "Let them sniff air." He looks out through the hatch. The sun is high already. The smoke screen starts to thin. The field lies open like a palm. On it, wrecks, smoke, black craters. Horobets breathes deep, sweat runs down his cheeks. Head for the slope, he says. Cut through the woods before they reorganize. And if they spot us? Then we hunt again. Only this time, not as prey. The tank moves slowly, branches scrape the armor, leaving green streaks. The air is heavy, warm, soaked with sweat and oil. Horobets watches through the narrow periscope slit. The sun flashes, smoke drifts. In this quiet, every sound is a heartbeat. They thread through the gully, leaving track marks leading into the forest. And somewhere behind, explosions still thud. But not so close now. Commander, Ivan asks, did we make it out? For now. But the field isn't ours yet. Petro wipes his sweat, smiles. Thought my heart would burst. Let it burst after victory, Horobets says. Not before. They are silent. Around them again, only the wind. The wind, and distant explosions reminding them the war still rages. And in that quiet, among the trees, for men inside a steel machine understand clearly. Today they did not just survive. They cheated death. The field after battle looks like another world. The air is heavy as stone. Smoke drifts low, covering the sun. Where hours ago artillery thundered, now stands a silence more frightening than explosions. Horobets's T-34 sits on a slope. The turret slightly skewed, tracks caked with dust. But it's alive. Petro slowly climbs out of the hatch. Soot on his face, eyes puffy, hands trembling. He takes off his helmet, looks around. My God, he whispers. What was that? All around, the earth shredded by shrapnel. Overturned machines, shell craters. Black, charred stains where people stood minutes ago. Horobets follows. He stands silently, holding the hatch. He breathes deeply, though the air scorches his chest. Alive? He asks softly. Alive, Ivan calls from inside. But the engine's dead. Let it rest. We're not made of iron either. The wind tears ragged pieces of smoke. The sun slowly breaks through the bluish veil. Its rays fall on shards of armor, glinting like mirrors. Horobets looks east. A field pocked with craters. Far off lies an overturned Tiger. Its turret a few meters from the hull. So that's their strength, he says quietly. Beautiful, until it burns. Ivan crawls out, brushes off dust. His hands tremble finely, but he laughs. Commander. What? We're alive, huh? For now, says Horobets. And that's enough. They sit right on the armor. For a few minutes, they're silent. In the quiet you can hear something crackle softly, maybe grass burning out somewhere. Or maybe the earth itself whispering it can't take any more blood. Commander, Petro says. Do you think we won this fight? Horobets doesn't answer at once. He looks at the smoke, the horizon, the wreckage. Then he says. If we're alive, that means we didn't lose. The wind shifts. From the north comes the smell of burning and oil. For a moment the world freezes. No birds, no insects, no sounds. Only the distant drone of engines somewhere on another flank. Sashko sits by the track. Wipes his brow and mutters. Thought my heart would explode. It did, Ivan says. Then it went back. Good, Petro adds. Can't go anywhere without a heart. They all laugh. Short, nervous, but sincere. Laughter among ruins is the best proof they're still alive. Horobets climbs down from the tank. Walks a few steps, stops at a crater. Inside lie a piece of a foreign helmet, a charred strap, a shell casing. He bends, picks up the casing, squeezes it in his palm. "This is war," he says quietly. "Not in orders, not in medals. In the earth. In this dust." He turns back to the boys. "Look around, lads. All this is the price that lets us stand here and talk." They are silent. There's nothing to add. A shadow of smoke glides across the field. It schemes over scorched grass, touches burned-out machines. In every shadow, someone's fate. "Commander," Petro says. "What if we hadn't hidden in the gully? Then no one would be asking you anything now. So maybe we were lucky? Maybe. Luck is a weapon too, if you know how to use it." Ivan nods. "We should remember that." The wind brings the smell of hot metal. Clouds gather again. The sun dulls. "It'll rain again soon," Sashko says. "Wash this all away." "Nothing washes away," Horobets answers. "The earth remembers." They stand in silence. Underfoot, spent shells, burned helmets, shards of armor. Each looks his own way but thinks of the same thing. How thin the line is between life and nothingness. Far off a cry, short, human. Then, silence. Horobets draws a deep breath, lifts his head. "Let's go. We need to find our own." "Which way?" Ivan asks. "Toward where the voices still sound like ours." They walk slowly across the field, between craters. Through wreckage and smoke. At last the sun slips out from behind the clouds, lighting their dust-covered figures. And in that light they don't look like soldiers, but like shadows of the past, alive, yet already part of history. Their silhouettes vanish into the haze. The camera lifts, revealing the shattered field. And in this quiet a thought is born. Even after the worst storm, there is always room for life. The sun comes out from behind the clouds. The field where the guns roared an hour ago now stands quiet. A silence so deep you can hear the earth breathe. Horobets's T-34 stands on a rise. The turrets slightly askew, the armor scraped, but it's alive. Around them, wreckage, craters, smoke. And in the midst of this chaos, 4 men. Alive. Petro takes off his helmet, wipes his face. "Well, Commander, we're still here." "Here," Horobets answers. "And that's enough." Ivan laughs, quiet, hoarse. "I thought I'd never see the sky again." "You see it," Horobets says, lifting his head. "It's ours again." Sashko pulls out a canteen, passes it around. The metal is hot, the water warm, but they drink it like something sacred. "To those who didn't make it," Petro says. "And to the fact that we did," Ivan adds. They all nod in silence. The sun strikes the armor and it gleams like a mirror. In that gleam, it's as if the whole battle has been compressed into a single moment. Horobets stands by the tank. Looks over the field, black, burned earth. Where among the smoke young green shoots are already visible. "Look," he says. "The earth lives anyway." "Then maybe we'll live a little, too," Petro smiles. "We will," Horobets answers. "Because someone has to remember." The music rises slowly, not mournful, but bright, warm. The camera pulls back. The tankers sit on the armor. One laughs, another is silent. The wind lifts dust from the ground and carries it into the sky. "Commander," Sashko says, "so did we win?" "Today, yes," says Horobets. "And tomorrow, we'll see." He raises the canteen. "To life. Because if we're alive, then it wasn't for nothing. We held. And that was enough for the world to keep breathing."